Hello, I'm nutritional scientist Lee McCoy, and in this video, I want to do a quick analysis of YouTube's favorite doctor, Dr. Berg, and his video titled The 5 Nutrient Deficiencies Behind Depression. Okay, this video isn't meant to be a character assassination of our favorite YouTuber, Dr. Berg, but rather just an analysis and extension of his great work. Okay, so to begin this sort of analysis, so overall, I found that Dr. Eric Berg, he does provide a decent discussion of various nutritional deficiencies that could or can contribute to depression. However, there are some limitations and concerns that do need to be addressed that he didn't necessarily cover very well in his video. Okay. So the first thing I sort of want to address is Dr. Berg's lack of scientific references. Okay, so Dr. Berg only provided 2 scientific references to support his claims. Okay, this sort of makes it quite difficult to assess the validity of the information that he provided because he discussed more than 2 vitamins and minerals. Okay, so it would be useful to have some references or citations to peer-reviewed studies or expert consensus. Okay, and peer-reviewed studies are essentially research articles that have been evaluated by independent experts in the same field to ensure they meet quality, rigor, and accuracy standards. Okay, they are a reliable source of information, having undergone a thorough review by experts to ensure they are based on valid evidence. Okay, the keyword being valid. Okay, you can have evidence, but is it valid? Okay, so specifically, Dr. Berg doesn't really provide any references regarding vitamin B12, folate, which is vitamin B9, and thiamine, which is vitamin B1. Their like sort of effect on the etiology or pathogenesis of depression. Okay, there's no research that he linked in his description for those vitamins. Okay. Dr. Berg also does make some overgeneralizations. Okay, so Dr. Berg tends to make sweeping generalizations. Okay, such as stating that a great majority of people who are depressed have very low vitamin D levels. Okay, at least in my analysis, I can't find research that sort of comes to that significant of a conclusion. Okay, there is evidence to support the relationship between low vitamin D levels and depression, but it's important to be cautious about making definitive statements without proper context or evidence. Okay. For instance, let me just pull up a meta-analysis here. Okay, so the effect size for vitamin D in depression in this meta-analysis of this systematic review, okay, is comparable with the effect of antidepressant medication and accepted treatment for depression. So that's pretty significant. That's sort of backing up what Dr. Berg's saying is there is this thing going on with vitamin D in depression, but nowhere in this study does it sort of elaborate and say that having low vitamin D is pretty much a predictor of depression. It isn't. Okay. These like the evidence in this systematic review. Okay. Needs to be sort of verified by future research. And these findings, okay, it says here, may have important clinical and public health implications. So Dr. Berg could be onto something here, but I think he makes a little bit too strong of a statement. Okay, hold on. Let me just pull this up. Okay. Dr. Berg also does do some oversimplification. So Dr. Berg implies that taking certain vitamins can fix depression. Okay, so while addressing nutritional deficiencies can help improve mood and overall well-being, it's important to recognize that depression is a complex condition. Incredibly complex condition that often requires a multifaceted approach, including therapy, medication, and lifestyle changes. So I must admit, most health science professionals rarely actually even discuss the role of proper nutrition in treating some symptoms of depression. So I do have to give some credit to Dr. Berg for inviting such a discussion on a large platform like YouTube. Okay. Another problem I have with Dr. Berg is his dosage recommendations. Okay, so Dr. Berg provides specific dosage recommendations for various vitamins and minerals without really taking into account individual differences that can influence how much of these vitamins and minerals that you actually need. Okay, so examples of this are age, weight, and existing medical conditions. So it's important to consult with a healthcare professional before starting any supplementation, especially at the high doses mentioned in Dr. Berg's video. And I'm not saying you can't work up slowly, titrate up slowly to these doses. I'm sure in certain situations these doses could be therapeutic, but I would probably prefer to do it quite slowly and based on their sort of anthropometric measurements. Okay. Dr. Berg also, he does discuss genetic information in his video. So Dr. Berg, he discussed genetic factors that could influence susceptibility to nutritional deficiencies and mood. Okay, while genetic factors can play some role, it is important to emphasize that genetic testing and interpretation of this testing should be done by a qualified professional, and the results should not be used to self-diagnose or self-treat any condition. That's not going to do anyone any good. Okay, so now I sort of just want to do a quick review of the scientific literature regarding vitamin B12, folate, and thiamine's intake effect on depressive symptoms, because Dr. Berg unfortunately didn't really go over that too much. So let me just pull up two articles here for you. Okay, so here we have a systematic review that does a meta-analysis. Okay, and so the results of these meta-analysis from this systematic review suggest that treatment with folate and vitamin B12, okay, remember folate is vitamin B9, does not, okay, listen clearly, does not decrease the severity of depressive symptoms over a short period of time. So in that acute depressive phase, they're essentially going to do very little, according to this, quite rigorous article. Okay. But it may be helpful in the long-term management of specific populations. So Dr. Berg is right. There could be a use for vitamin B12 and folate, but I wouldn't necessarily get our hopes too high based on the current research we have. So it's something that's probably safe to experiment with, but yeah, there's no guarantee that it's going to completely cure or fix your depression. Okay, let me just pull up an article here. Okay. And this is a Chinese article. Okay, so this study concluded, based on a population-based analysis, suggests that there is an association between thiamine, vitamin B1, malnutrition, and depressive symptoms among older Chinese adults. And that's quite a niche population. And I must admit, it was quite difficult to find really any research on thiamine and depression. So maybe that is why Dr. Berg didn't really reference anything. He was speaking from anecdotal evidence and evidence that he's had working clinically. Okay, but these findings warrant further investigation in prospective studies. Okay, so there needs to really be more research done in this field. We can't really make any strong conclusions about thiamine's influence on depressive symptoms. Okay, sorry, let me just pull that up. Okay, so in summary, basically, Dr. Berg's video does provide an interesting overview of the potential relationship between nutritional deficiencies and depression, but it does lack some scientific rigor and critical evaluation. Okay, it's always essential to consult with a healthcare professional before implementing any supplementation or lifestyle changes based on the information provided in Dr. Berg's video and in this video. Okay, so all three research articles will be linked in the description of this video. Thank you for watching this video, and leave any comments in the comment section below. Thank you so much. See you in the next video.